Let me know when.
Looks like we're live.
Oh, we're live. Yay. Welcome to Cask Strength. This is 14, and we're finally doing Cask Strength whiskey. No, it's not 14, it's 13.
13.
Oh my God, already with the
forever.
Expert professional just intro, just nailing it right from the get-go.
You're really off to a killer start.
Well, thankfully, there's some whiskey in front of me, and I can just keep on getting worse and worse. So it is what it is now.
Right, exactly.
Yes, welcome, everyone. Glad to see everyone in the chat, and glad to see Brad and Josh with us in one piece.
Yeah, we have all the usual suspects in the chat. I've seen my friend Whiskey and Barbecue is in here. Ryan just came out with a video today in which I was coerced into eating hot sauce once again on the internet for people's amusement. So if you haven't seen that yet, go and check it out. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, there's crazy echo apparently on both me and you right now.
Don't know. That's very strange. Try this. Say some stuff.
I am going to speak words now because I am professional and know how to speak words.
Saying stuff and things.
Stuff and things. I don't know yet.
Maybe.
I guess we'll find out when the chat catches up.
All right.
Okay, it's great apparently. So done. Okay, perfect.
At least we were on time today. That's a big thing.
There is
That's a big deal.
Yeah. All right, so let's see who's in the chat. We see Mike from Toronto, Jason Unsworth, Scott Says Dummies. I'm gonna just always assume that's Scott. So hey, Scott. Who else? Whiskey Barbecue. That's Ryan, I guess.
That's Ryan. Yep.
Yep. Ryan, another video that you were on just got released today on his channel, right?
Yeah, that was the hot sauce one.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a hot sauce one. So for everyone that 2 episodes ago when we did hot sauces and saw me excruciating pain, and Josh just kind of cruising along like nothing's wrong. There's no big deal. Problem. How about you go visit Ryan and Whiskey and Barbecue and see Josh in apparent extreme pain?
It was not comfortable.
Yeah,
sure.
He didn't turn into a blubbering mess, though. I'll give you that, Josh. You were a champ.
Yeah. I handled it reasonably okay. And you mentioned Scotch Says Dummies. I saw in the chat as well. I saw those guys briefly on Saturday when they were doing a live stream over at the Scotch tasting I was at. So good to see you guys again.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later on. For those that don't know, Keith Corbett is in the house. Donald Rance, the Patron himself is here.
The one and only.
The Patron.
And thanks everyone. If we on Steve A, Mark Goins, glad to have everyone in here.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're doing the Cask Strength whiskey. We've drank Cask Strength whiskeys before on the show, but this is the first one that's going to be Cask Strength whiskey focused. Right?
Yeah, it took us, yeah, that was one of the things that we were talking about when we were coming up with the name for the channel. Like, are we going to end up just talking about Cask Strength whiskeys all the time? And we didn't. It
didn't seem to be a problem for some reason.
Oh, wait a minute. We should focus on Cask Strength for a little bit.
Right. I know a couple of guys who are in the chat are pouring some Cask Strength stuff for themselves. Like Steve A's got the Balcones True Blue Cask Strength. I have a little different Balcones here I'll be pouring later. But we all have the same one to start with. Right? Myself a little bit of. It's the Redbreast 12 Cask Strength. So
very good. Yeah, I'll
get a jump on me on that one. So
well, it's cold up in Canada. We need to keep warm somehow.
Seriously. It's crazy this week. Josh wouldn't know anything about that because they don't get weather down there in Texas.
Yeah, it's cold here, kind of.
It's all relative.
Studio.
So I know this Redbreast Cask Strength 12 year is one of all of our favorite.
Yes.
Just out of the whole sort of accessible Redbreast range, right?
Absolutely.
For me, it is. Yeah, 100%.
I still can't decide if I like the 12 cask strength or the 21 better, because they're both amazing for different reasons.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a unsurpassed purveyor of flavorful delights.
Absolutely.
You're so good with words.
So talking about cask strength, I always knew that what does it mean to you? When you say cask strength, what do you think, Vito?
A shovel to the face.
But like in terms of a definition.
In terms of a definition, unfiltered straight from the barrel.
Okay.
No watering down.
Undiluted.
Yeah, undiluted.
Right.
That's a more professional way of saying that for sure.
Sure.
But yeah, just like just raw spirit.
Right. Yeah. Goes in the bottle at the same proof as it was in the barrel.
Yeah. Exactly. The Angels could have their share, but other than that, nothing is added before getting into the bottle.
So they do allow. I looked up some things about the U.S. legal definition of it, but it seems to me they do allow, if you just use the word cask strength or barrel proof, they do allow a small variance, a couple of points of proof. So if you had to apply for a whole new label every single time that you had a little bit different proof from batch to batch, then that would probably be a nightmare, right? So they allow it to vary a little bit. But my question is, and this is from my trip to Iron Root Republic on Saturday this weekend, what if it's diluted purposefully in the barrel over time?
Oh, that's a good question.
That's tricky.
That's something that they do there to try and achieve different flavor profiles and let it age in different ways depending on what the intended end product is.
Well, Brad's the song here, so
I would say that is tricky. But I would say cask strength, to me, like sort of emotionally, means it's just not diluted to the point that they're being silly. Like Talisker 57 North is not technically cask strength, but it's still 57% proof on purpose. Right. Like, what's the difference between that and like something that's cask strength at like 54 point whatever, like whatever comes out of the barrel, right? If it's the proof that you're worried about and not dilution, where is there a line, I should say, of where it's high enough proof that it doesn't really matter if they're adding water to get to that proof? It's still essentially cask strength, even if that's not necessarily a legal definition of cask strength. Right.
So from what I can tell, there's some proposed regulations for the TTB here in the States, right, that will define cask strength as being entering the bottle at not substantially different from the proof at which it exited the barrel, right? So there can be a little bit of difference there, but if you're going to label it cask strength, now they'll have a different definition for statements such as original cask strength or original barrel proof.
Okay.
So that would mean it's not, aside from Angel share, maybe some evaporation that might happen, right, the entry proof barrel versus what it gets bottled at is basically the same.
That would be good. More clarity. I like it.
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to create convolutedness.
I feel like most people won't recognize what that means.
Yeah, it's like for the general population, they're not going to care. They're just going to be like, oh, what's the? It's going to be like thinking about a blended grain and a blended malt. No one outside of enthusiasts really care about that. The general public just like, okay, whatever.
Exactly, and I think the enthusiasts that do care about cask strength whiskey, there's no companies or no bottlings that I've ever seen where this is an issue, right? Where somebody's trying to label something at 40% and put cask strength on the label. I've never seen something silly like that. So I think in general, companies sort of comply with the spirit of it anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
You see what I did there? The spirit of it.
It was so smooth
punny
that it just went right over my head.
Well, your head is smooth, so you know,
yeah, it just slides right over.
So what do you guys think of this red breast? Does this now what is it? 58.2%.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever find yourself wanting to water this down at all?
I've tried it before, not recently. I think when I first got it, I experimented with that and decided I just, as usual, I like it at the proof it was bottled at. But I'll certainly give that a try here in a minute. It's just lovely stuff, though. If you're a fan of Redbreast 12 and you haven't had the cask strength, it's everything about that Redbreast 12 just, you know, turned up to 11, as it were.
I'm going to actually, and this is going back to the last couple of reviews that I put out with the bourbon. I'm actually going to do a little bit of water this time and not just say I'm going to do it and forget about doing it. Because I've put a couple of drops of water in the cask strength before, and I quite like it down closer to 50%.
Okay, yeah, I'll give that.
And I usually don't, and you guys know, I tend not to, just because whatever, like I'd rather just drink it. But I did it one night and I was like, oh wow, like I actually kind of dig this a little bit better now.
Interesting.
Yeah, I saw Donald Rance in the chat was asking about cask strength Irish, a different variety, the Jameson Bow Street 18 cask strength. Says the best Jameson he's ever had. I've never had that. That sounds fantastic, though. I'd love to give that a try. I think I actually saw that in the store not long ago. I mean, it was some kind of Jameson 18. I don't know if it was a cask strength one. But
yeah, I haven't seen that. We don't generally get those kinds of things around here. Not often.
It's this Toronto and Ontario.
I mean, that's one of the, what you're talking about with diluting it, though. That's one of the benefits of cask strength whiskey is you get to choose to dilute or not, and if so, how much.
Yeah, dial it in for yourself. When I
break this down, sorry, Brad, go ahead.
Just to, you can dial it in for yourself instead of, having it at 40 whatever percent that they dilute down to for you.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, but when I water this down to close to 50% roughly, I get a chocolate fudge note.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice, because it's all kind of berries and shortbread and maybe a bit creamy, stuff like that, and at full strength.
I get like a creamy chocolate fudge.
Fine, I'll try it too.
I convinced ya.
I'll give it a go.
While you're doing that, let's go back into the chat because there are a couple more people joined us. Eric Waite from California joined. Eric, nice to have you. Patrick, I don't think we got Patrick. Patrick is buried under snow in Green Bay.
Oh, brutal.
Yeah, Dan Hayes from Toronto, who was responsible for the last 5 videos. For the 5 last videos that I did, giving me all those samples. Thank you again, Dan, because you are a gentleman and a scholar.
Yeah, who else do we have in here?
Vito, you're not wrong. I'm getting a distinct Cocoa Puffs milk vibe out of it now.
I can see you're like a light fudge, maybe.
Yeah,
like that.
Just like a little. It's so buttery and creamy that it but it's definitely there. There's a little cocoiness.
Yeah.
Or maybe you've convinced me, Jason, and it's all just a trick of my brain. Who knows?
Yeah, very suggestible, right? Saw Jason Unsworth said that he prefers the regular 12, actually. So
fair enough.
Yeah, which is fantastic whiskey.
It is, yeah. No,
it's no question about that.
So we had a comment just now from Esmac. I believe that's a new name. So welcome, Esmac. Nice to have you. They're saying, I've never had a cask strength non-American whiskey. Very interested in trying some though.
Oh yeah.
I wonder if the chat and we can give her some or him some suggestions maybe to try out.
For a non-American whiskey.
Non-American whiskey.
So of course, this Redbreast is a good one to try. You know, independent bottlings from Scotland are often cask strength. So that's a cool way to go. If you like a particular Scotch distillery, you might find sort of an unusual age statement or you know, things like that in an independent bottling.
If you want to go Canadian, there's
in the
Lot
chat
40.
Aberlour Abuna, that's a fantastic one as well if you're a heavy sherry fan. So
yeah, it all depends on what you like. Like, because if you've never really ventured outside of American whiskeys and you want to get into the cask strength scotches, it may be too much at first, right? Because if like right off the bat, I can name you like 5, 6 Isla like cask strengths to go for. But if you don't like smoke, you might, you're gonna, you might die.
True.
So I don't want to do that. I don't want that on my conscience. But if you like peaty stuff, or if you like more sherry, sweet stuff, then pick a region and then try a cask strength or try the base expression and then go for the cask strength. Maybe don't buy the bottle. Maybe go to a bar and try it out first before you invest in the bottle.
Right.
Yeah,
but it's definitely worth it.
That's where I've tried a lot of the Lofroy Cargus expressions and picked out my favorite, which is. I also think a suggestion from our illustrious Nika from the
See if he comes back. Oh, he's back.
Good.
Am I back?
You're back.
This frozen over. So
it's certainly cold here. Yes, actually, it's the polar vortex. Dan Dewberry has it. It's the polar vortex causing problems.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I'm gonna go ahead and pour the next two that I have, just so that they can breathe a little bit for when we get to them.
That's actually a pretty good idea.
Yeah, especially because they're they deserve to breathe a little bit. These ones are special. So I want to say something really quickly, because it's been on my mind, and as a Canadian, I feel the need to apologize for this more than I probably should, because I keep on apologizing in the comments. I apologize so much for the audio issues in the last couple of videos I've done. Much.
It sounds like our stream is still kind of messed up.
Oh, what's going on?
From what the chat's saying.
It looks like it's fine.
It looks okay to me. Hopefully it will catch up with itself. People are having issues. People are saying it's back now.
Okay, perfect.
Google is just being mean to us or something.
So yeah, I'm sorry. I filmed all 5 in one night, and then after when I started editing them, there was nothing I could do to save the audio and raise it up higher than I could. So I just decided, instead of scrapping like an hour's worth of filming, I'm just going to release it, and hopefully it's okay. And it turns out it's not, but at least you guys, I'm glad that some of you enjoyed it and got, what I was going for. The next couple of videos, I've fixed the audio, so we're all good on that front. And that's the last thing. I'm going to apologize for that one.
You're Canadian. That's not the last time you're going to apologize.
For that. He'll apologize later for all sorts of other things.
Yeah. So going back a bit to ESMAC, because they responded. Thank you for the suggestions. I'm branching out into Scotch. I've also had quite a bit of Irish whiskeys, just not had the opportunity to try cask strength. Thanks again. No problem. And the world of Scotch is very wide. So I said my best suggestion is, if you have a local whiskey bar, go and just try some there before investing in, because then you'll know your wheelhouse and where to go from there.
Right.
Yeah.
John in the chat was asking, how much does letting it breathe alter the ABV? I don't know by how much. I'm sure evaporation rates will vary based on the proof and probably your environment and the temperature and probably all sorts of factors, right?
Yeah, the variables become too far and wide to make an assessment, I feel. You'd have to have the measuring thing to really gauge it, no?
Yeah, absolutely. But, aside from that, it's definitely a thing to let your whiskey sit out in the glass. Even 5-10 minutes will make a bit of a difference in terms of, I guess, lowering the proof slightly.
And just oxidation beyond
with
lowering the proof.
Stuff. If it's a bit too hot, you let it sit for a little bit. It kind of rounds off the edges.
Yeah.
Now, would you say that it's lowering the ABV, or the alcohol vapors are just escaping and you're left with? I mean, we lasted 22 minutes this time.
I don't know. Frozen internets. Got to thaw out the internet cables.
Oh, look at that! It's just about the same amount of time as the worst whiskey episode. Oh, and we're back apparently.
Yeah, so I guess Google is just going to play games with us.
Seems like folks just keep having to refresh it and such. That's weird.
Yeah, that is very strange.
I think YouTube is just screwing with us.
That could be also. Who knows?
That's so weird.
Yeah, that's strange.
And Scott from Scott Says Dummies is saying better video now, so it seems to be in and out, and people are having weird things. Damn it, Google.
It was all that heat on the cask strength whiskey. It's thawing the internet pipes.
That's gotta be it.
Just a little bit.
That's gotta be it.
Yeah.
Josh, tell us what happened this weekend with you.
So, well, first on Friday evening, we went down to Fang and Feather Wizard Academy and got to spend a little time with Patrick Cohn. He was in town, which was really cool. Good to see him always. And we drank some bunch of cool samples. Got to try that new Compass Box. I believe it's pronounced Juvenile because it's a French bar, right?
Okay.
The juveniles.
Right.
Juvenile.
Yeah.
Juvenile?
I think it's Juvenile, but don't quote me on that. But tried a bunch of interesting stuff, hung out, had a good time, and then Saturday morning, Gretchen and I woke up really early and drove. It was about 3.5 hours north to Iron Root Republic Distillery. Ooh. And hung out there with Robert Licorice and his brother Jonathan showed up a little bit later, and their mother works there as well, kind of helps managing the distillery. So it's a total family run operation. We had a fantastic time. Shot a bunch of video there, which I have like 3 hours of video to go through and edit and like make a video out of. So that'll be coming sometime pretty soon, hopefully. Had a fantastic time. We spent, from about 10:30 to probably about 3:34 in the afternoon hanging out with those guys, tasting whiskeys, talking about how they do their thing, hanging out in the barrel house, taking samples from the casks of various, examples of what they do. And, just had a really, really great time. So thanks so much to them. After that, we went to a Macallan and Highland Park tasting in which Scott's Test Dummies were doing a live stream with Matt Cetrick there and the Macallan Highland Park brand ambassador. So we hung out while they were doing their live stream thing. I got dragged on camera for 30 seconds or so, and then we hung out the rest of the night, tried a bunch of cool whiskeys, got to try the Pappy 20-year-old.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
Yeah, so it was pretty good. It was pretty good. That was actually probably my favorite Pappy Van Winkle I've had.
Oh, yeah?
And we killed a bottle of it. So.
Oh, wow.
I don't want to give too much away from the Iron Root visit because it's all going to be in the video. But I have one of their whiskeys here tonight that I'll talk about. That'll probably pour that next, actually.
Yeah, let's get into our second pour of the night.
Yeah. But
I'm gonna leave the red breast out, but I still have about a 3/4 to an ounce left. And
yeah,
at the end of it, we're gonna do science and see if it mellowed down.
Scientific. So what's your second one?
Mine is the Lagavulin 12-year 2017 edition, my whiskey of the year from last year.
Oh, that's fantastic stuff.
It is so good. I need to go buy another bottle of this before it goes away.
And Brad, what did you have?
I've got the Lot 40 cask strength, this year's version.
Oh,
last year's version, I got
that.
the 2018. Spice, nutty.
You know what? Actually, right now, I'm gonna do that too. But mine is the Balcones rye.
Yeah. And it's a Canadian rye that's like actually rye, which is nice.
I still haven't tried that.
Isn't that that's a weird thing to me?
It's super
rye
weird.
Is
it's
like
so
used
strange.
just to mean whiskey.
Yeah, no, it doesn't make any sense. It's super bizarre. And you have to,
Even
if it says rye, you have to actually check, like, is this actually rye?
I saw Jose Martinez in the chat. Hey man, he was there both on Friday evening at Wizard Academy and then on Saturday evening at the Macallan Highland Park deal. So he and I were sitting sipping on that Pappy 20 together. So good to see you, man. That was fantastic. It was a nutty drink. We were making all sorts of nutty jokes as we were drinking the Pappy there.
Yeah. The Pappy
so I'm really curious to try that Lot 40 cask strength, especially versus this Balcones rye.
Well, when I get down there in April, we can try some.
Yeah, no, I believe there is a bottle making its way down here to me in October, thanks to one of our mutual friends.
Yeah, Mr. Hayes has left his bed and is working at getting a pour for himself. We finally got to him.
Nice.
Oh, Steve A. Talking about Fang and Feather on the 11th. Is he talking about the next potential party?
Yeah.
I think
sounds like. How insane will it be? Probably pretty crazy.
Probably.
Yeah. Well, it depends if they do it the same as last time, right? Because they can only allow a certain amount of people on the property.
That's true. That's true.
Right? So. There's
a maximum level of insanity that they have to set. But it's going to be crazy.
Oh God, that's good, man.
So ESMAC, and this is slowly turning into the ESMAC show. They've been watching since the first episode, but they've only been able to catch it live tonight.
Oh, nice!
Awesome, cool, nice to have you. Feel free to comment on videos and whatnot, so we know that you guys exist.
Yeah, I'm glad you could make it. You're our new favorite in the chat, I think. Then.
Oh, and it's a he. Silly me, we don't have female viewers.
We have a couple. What are you talking about?
Sometimes
we have.
There's at least a few.
Christina, when she's not busy going to school and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you count them? I mean, they are ladies, but
women count, Vito.
Oh my God!
Stop being so sexist, Vito. Come
on. If we're on the internet, don't insinuate stuff like that.
Vito's a great guy.
I love all ladies, and by the way, I'm single.
Yikes.
I wonder why now.
I wonder why.
This whiskey is really good.
Yeah, tell me about it.
And Gretchen really hates me now.
Yeah. Yeah, Balcones looks like coffee. It often does.
Yeah.
You can see it is a little bit of more of an amber in there now if I get it up close. But,
a little bit.
Yeah.
It's always super dark though. All the Balcones stuff is.
Pretty much.
Texas heat really burns the color in there.
You know, that's actually one of the more interesting things about Iron Root in general. Is a big part of their entire strategy is trying to slow things down and deal with that heat and the climate. And of course, they're in North Texas, right? So it's hours away from me.
And they're near a lake, right?
Near a lake, yeah. So they have just a different climate, different humidity, different temperature swings, even though it's still in the same state, still definitely in the south, and they still have to definitely deal with that harsh maturation environment.
Sure.
But they're using larger barrels and pretty much always have, aside from, you know, a few odd experiments and stuff like that. So they're trying to slow down that aging process, because extracting wood notes from the barrel is pretty easy to do. You know, you can age it hot, age it small barrel. You can do all of that pretty quickly, but the key to making more complex, more interesting whiskey, at least in their approach, is oxidation, and that takes time, right?
And I guess that also plays hand in hand with what they're trying to do with adding water in the maturation process too, right?
Right, and it's not necessarily to every single barrel of every single expression,
but doing experiments with all of these different processes.
Processes.
Gotta do that science.
Yeah, they add water to certain barrels gradually over time, a little bit. They mark on the barrel as they add it, and then some other stuff that had been heavily diluted of the same spirit. And the amount of difference that makes is pretty incredible.
Gretchen, 2 of us still love you, so, you know, don't worry about Vito.
What? See, this goes back to what I was saying before to you guys in the chat. It's like, I'm in trouble no matter what.
You can't win.
It's true.
I can't win.
That is true.
And I've already forgotten what I'm in trouble for.
The whiskey.
Uh-oh.
So, Brad, you spoke briefly on the lot 40 cask strength.
Yeah.
Now,
yes.
And what I should have done, because I was in your neck of the woods this past weekend, I should have stolen some from you.
You should have.
Yes, should have.
Instead, you drove 5 hours, moved my whiskey collection, left me whiskey, and then left. Best mooching I ever did.
I did collect something. I collected a burger and some fries.
That's true.
Fair payment.
That's true. But yeah, next time I'm down there or you're down here, we'll get you some lot 40.
Cool.
How is
a lot of people around me that have it anyways, but yeah, I calling all Torontonians, I need some lot 40
actually
strength.
I still have a bottle in Toronto, actually.
Who has it?
Adam.
I'm going to talk to them later.
Adam's got it.
Okay. Oh, I know where he lives. I can go steal it.
There you go. I mean, wait
how
a second.
Is that lot 40 cask strength versus like your average rye? I'm super curious about that. Like, what would you compare it to even?
Well, I sort of happy in a sense of the nuttiness, because it's got all of the nutty notes really amped up for whatever reason in the cask strength version. It's not the same as Pappy, but like that, the sort of background nuttiness, like almost like a aftertaste of peanut butter or some kind of a nut cream deal going for it, but you still have like the spiciness of the rye.
Sure.
And there's a little bit of pickle in there sometimes that I pick up, but it's like dialed down compared to a lot of ryes. Anyway, maybe the other things are just dominating it. But it changes like the balance of the main rye features in a way that I really enjoy.
Nice. And not very eucalyptus or
no.
No, not a lot of like weird minty or dill type notes.
No, just maybe the tiniest hint of dill, but everything else just overpowers it, so I like don't even notice.
I saw that Mike said that Vito, as penance, needs to wear one of those Whiskey Wife T-shirts. It's been.
I'll wear whatever.
Well, we know you'll put on the crazy T-shirts.
Sure.
Yeah, the Balcones rye is kind of a unicorn to me too. It doesn't have minty eucalyptus dill type notes at all. It's all dark chocolate and citrus.
Nice. Yeah, I'm not usually a fan of rye just because of the like heavy dill or pickly notes and like licorice I get a lot and things like that. Like it's just not my thing generally.
Scott said something interesting about the Lot 40. He thinks that it's more the Canadian rye profile, just concentrated at barrel strength compared to American rye spicy dill rye.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's fair. And Jeremy Sims wants to replace me with Ella, the dog, which I'm totally okay with, actually. That would be fine.
I totally just heard her get up in the other room, too.
There you go. Perfect. Get her in here. I'll go do something else.
Ella's got hosting duties.
I mean, Ella speaks, so.
I mean, yeah. Would you just watch a live stream of just Ella?
Yeah.
I mean, why not?
Jason Unsworth is asking if we've had High West finish ryes like the Midwinter or the Yippee-Ki-Yay, and I've had Midwinter, and it's pretty good. I haven't had Yippee-Ki-Yay.
I have both Midwinter and Yippee-Ki-Yay up there. Between the two of them, I definitely prefer the Midwinter by a long shot. That's a fantastic like wintertime holiday whiskey, right?
Absolutely.
So what do we got going on in here? It's a pretty quiet night. Not in the quiet in terms of the chat, just in terms of, I don't know. It's so cold. It's so cold. My body is like shutting down.
There is that.
Oh.
That's why I'm wearing my thermal right now. It's like
your tiny little body is shutting down.
It's so cold. I was telling you before we went live, I got into my car. My phone was at 33% battery. I drove home. My battery went to 3%. It was only a 12-minute drive. It destroyed my battery. Absolutely insane.
Steve asked, "What Midwinter do I have?" I have the most recent. I've had pours of previous years, just here and there, but I have the most recent one. Came out into the year last year.
Do either of you two know Buffalo Trace Experimental that Ross Fudd is discussing?
I don't.
I have had one of those. I don't remember exactly what it was. I want to say it was 6 grains or something like that. So it was, corn, rye, barley, wheat, and then like quinoa or something like that. There was 2 other funky grains in there that they made into a bourbon. It was brought back from the distillery, I believe, something like that. A friend of mine has it. So
nice.
Only the one though. I've only ever tried one of those, one pour of that experimental series.
I wish we were able to get some stuff like that up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Well, you guys know Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. Ryan has a excellent whiskey collection, so gotten a chance to try a lot of things because of his generosity. So speaking of cask strength or barrel strength, have you seen all the different tools they use to take samples from barrels? I don't know. Have you ever had just directly straight out of the barrel right into the glass anywhere?
Nope.
I haven't.
So normally it's like a thief, right? Or they make an angled version. I forget exactly what that's called, but copper or glass tube usually, right? Put in there, and it's almost like taking water out of a glass with your straw.
Yeah.
Right. You cover the end of it, pulls out some liquid, and then you can dump it in the glass. The guys at Iron Root use something a little different since they have a lot of background in brandy and cognac distilling. They've trained in France with some of the famous distillers there. They use something called a prevette, which would definitely be in the video that I put together. But it looks almost like something like a weapon from a Quentin Tarantino movie. Like it could have been in Kill Bill or something. Right. It's like a little tube on a chain where they take the sample and the chain comes out. And the point is you can drop this tube down to the bottom of the barrel because it will kind of separate in there to a degree. So you get actually a more representative sample. If you go all the way to the bottom and then pull back up, you sort of agitate it a little bit and get all the layers that may have separated there. Sure. So they like using that guy instead of just dropping into one point with a thief.
Nice, yeah. That would be an interesting difference, like from the top versus the bottom of the barrel and stuff, to see how different that actually is. Yeah, we don't generally get the chance to do stuff like that right out of the barrel in Ontario. There's not a lot of opportunities, unfortunately, for that.
Yeah. Jose asked me if Iron rotates their barrels to their warehouse, or do they let them sit there and sip from them occasionally? It's more the latter. They do move things around as they need to move things around, whether that be to make space or they feel like, they do have one side of the warehouse that gets more sun and more heat versus the other. And then of course the center is the most kind of stable temperature wise. And they were telling me even within, different months of the year, the barrels will be different, week to week, or even within the same day, they will fluctuate a little bit, depending on the temperature and all the other environmental factors. But they do move them around a little bit, but mostly they stay put. They do some like single barrel releases and stuff, but it's more about having an array of samples to draw from when they want to create a blend. Sure. So if they have the barrels over on this side of the warehouse are a little more spicy, this side of the warehouse they're a little more fruity because of just where they sit and the relevant temperature and all that. That enables them to assemble a blend for what they want of the end product, and they want as many pieces of a flavor spectrum as they can get when they're doing that. So they're not rotated regularly. I saw Captain Make It Happen in here.
Yeah.
I think, okay, this was, I had to take an Uber away from that party because we had a lot of whiskey. Gretchen left early and she hung most of the day, but she had had enough. She went back to the hotel. Pretty sure I spent some time hanging out with that guy and drinking whiskey. I believe he said his name was Captain Make It Happen, and he'd been in our chats before, but
nice.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe I hung out with that dude a little bit.
The world of whiskey is tiny.
So yeah, that was me. Awesome.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah, cheers, man.
It's a small world.
So how's your second pour there, Vito?
Very, very good. Like this is a dram that I don't pour it often now, but when I do, I pour like an ounce, maybe a little bit more, and I just sit with it for like half hour. Like this is one of the few that I will actually take my time with and sit with.
Right.
It is so damn good. So good. But I'm ready to go to my third if you guys are ready.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Sure, yeah.
And then we'll tighten everything up here and discuss some things that we have going on in our brains, in our brain areas.
In your brain area.
Yikes.
Yeah, it's a tricky area to discuss, but we'll get there. So what do you got, Josh? What's next for you?
Well, my next one I can guarantee is Cask Strength because I watched this get filled directly from a single barrel.
Nice.
Straight into the bottle. So this is the Iron Root Icarus, which they gave me a taster of as we were sitting in their conference room trying some of their range. And this is actually not available right now just yet. It's going to be coming out pretty soon. I think he said distillery only release because we don't have a whole lot of it. But the Icarus is a corn whiskey, right? And corn whiskey doesn't get a lot of respect in the whiskey world, right?
Right.
It's kind of considered a lower end spirit in a way. So they wanted to take a corn whiskey and just do something amazing to it and showcase like what it could be. So this is partially aged in ex-port barrels and partially aged in a ex-Isla peated Scotch barrel.
That sounds
months aged. So
nice.
Yeah.
And Brad, what do you got?
I've got the Port Charlotte MCO.
That is a good one.
It is what, 9 years this one is, I think? Yeah, 9 years.
Yeah.
At 56.3. And as with most Port Charlotte things, it is amazingly delicious. And it's just like liquid meat. So good.
Jeremy was telling us we're frozen again, and we're back.
Frozen again, and we're back. Okay, without doing anything, sure. So Google is being very silly with us today.
Well, when is it never not silly with us?
When are we going to get some love
true.
from Google?
I think once we hit 1,000.
Once we hit 1,000. Once we get enough people here that they'll care if we call them.
Something worthwhile.
Yeah. Yes, the MCO one is amazing.
Yeah, I had a little sample of that one time at a tasting, and I haven't seen it in a store here yet. So I'm pretty jealous of you as well.
And the bottle is just cool.
Yeah,
it's just a nice bottle with like the
new bottles are
the raised glass stuff, and it's got a lip like that fits a Glencairn perfectly for pouring.
It's
so good.
The bottle design is like so like early 1900s, like just like very industrial, and it's got the
I never thought about it until now. You're totally right.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
It's so cool.
The way it's like the raised lettering on the back and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
So cool.
But it's all just super functional, but it's like it just looks really great.
And I like how they're doing that too, because they have that on the botanist bottle as well with the raised lettering.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm drinking Octomore 7.1.
Nice.
Because Bruichladdich does nothing wrong.
Agreed.
And I want to answer Donald Rance's question to me and Brad. Have you had the chance to try the Gotterham and Warts 11 Souls yet, Brad?
Nope.
See, I have a sample of it, and I may be tempted to do a review of it to put out next week.
Do it.
Now that someone's brought it up. So
what's I'm not familiar with that one. What's the deal with that?
It's a Canadian whiskey. Honestly, I have no idea what it's about because I don't do research ever.
But, yeah. I don't know if you guys know this, but like every time that we get on and chat for a few minutes before we start the show, like, does anybody have any notes? I have notes.
It's been very well established that I don't
need of notes right now.
Yeah.
Vito's like, I've got a few words scribbled on some papers down here.
I've got nothing. I think it's pretty well established at this point that I don't make notes or read other people's notes. Yeah.
But yeah, no, we haven't tried it. I will try it. I'm gonna make a couple of videos tomorrow and see if I can get them out for next week. Speaking of videos, I think I'm going to do all my videos as Tuesday, Thursday releases. So if you guys are looking at some sort of schedule for like my stuff, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and maybe like a special video sometime on the weekend, either Saturday or Sunday, depending if I have time to make one. But that's going to be my schedule. So if you guys are looking forward to them, which I don't know why you would, but if you are,
of course, people do.
Definitely that Tuesdays and Thursdays I'll be releasing I will be releasing reviews and then a special like either cocktail or what have you, other sort of deal some other day, Saturday or Sunday.
So, according to Sniper Mac, I might have a sample of that 11 Souls in my possession. I would have to look.
You have to organize your new vault too.
I do. Sometime in the next few days, it'll start getting organized.
We should have done it that day I was there.
We should have, but we're lazy, and you had done enough work.
Okay, so Donald Rance, he said it's 4 grains from 11 different casks named after 11 orphans that were adopted by William Gooderham. So that's an interesting backstory to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard it's very good, but I really know nothing about
it. Something else that I wanted to mention in here that I thought was super interesting that the guys at Iron Root were doing, and Gretchen was so excited about it. She started texting Brad to see if he was interested in partaking on a barrel pick, and they do, so like anybody else, so you can do a barrel pick and do a single cask, right? And pick whether you want it at cask strength or whether you want it diluted to a different proof, etc.
Sure.
But they came up with this different concept called an evolution barrel. So if you purchase an evolution barrel, let's say you have them bottle the first third of the barrel. And then you buy those and you take them and they've had restaurants and I think maybe a few private individuals do this, but you take your bottles away and now the remainder 2/3 of that barrel sits in the warehouse for a little while. And so not only is it spending more time in the barrel, it's spending more time in the barrel with additional headspace. There's more oxygen in there to promote oxidation with what's left. And then you come back at a later time, whether you want to taste it, you want to trust the guys there to tell you when it's a good time to bottle it again. Take another third. Take those bottles away. Now you've got 2/3 of the cask empty, just full of air. And he was telling me that once you get to that bottom third and let that sit for a little while, that's when it gets pretty incredible. You get some really, really interesting stuff going on that way. And so I've never heard of another distillery doing that.
Yeah, that's super interesting. But I'm definitely in. We got to do that. That'll be cool.
Geez, sorry about that. My pen is gigantic and very heavy. How do you guys feel? Completely off topic, but do you guys like small pens or pens with a little bit of weight and, for lack of a better term, girth to them?
You like a little girth in your hand, do you?
Hey. Yeah, I do.
I like huge pens.
Is that a large pen, or are your hands just really small?
If I had one handy, I would show you the pen that I usually carry. Vito, I'm pretty sure you've seen it. The ridiculous nonsense. It's huge. It's it's a flashlight and a pen and all kinds of nonsense. But yeah, it's giant.
I bought this pen because it's when I went traveling across Europe, but I brought it because I was renting cars. And I bought it because one, it just kind of looked cool and military, but it also has a window, like a window breaker on the end.
Yeah. Jesus, that looks like a tactical pen.
Yeah. Mine is the same deal, a little bit larger, I think, than that, but same idea.
But I love it all the time. Since I bought it, before I would just use the standard Bic pens and what but since I bought this pen, like just a little bit of weight helps so much when you're writing. It's fantastic.
Absolutely. Yeah, Dan Hayes of the chat is saying blinded me, which is accurate. It's bright enough to be painful.
Well, the Vito likes girth.
I knew that ages ago. I don't know if we
do these crazy things.
These childish accusations.
Window thing. I don't know what.
Exactly.
Never know.
Never know.
So how about whiskeys, huh?
How about them whiskeys? You know what? This Ockmore, actually, I have never let the Ockmore sit for as long as I'd done tonight, and it vapor like we were talking about before. My assumption of like the vapors escaping.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bit of a like burn on the night. There's none of that now.
Interesting. Yeah, it's kind of what we were talking about earlier. You let it sit for a little bit, and it kind of rounds off a bit, right?
And if anything, what's weird, like I'm getting a weird stale buttery popcorn, like a movie theater popcorn.
Wow,
Which
interesting. Could be that you've been drinking cask strength whiskey for the last hour too.
So it's the Icarus is it's kind of all the port on the front, and then that corn sweetness kind of takes over, and then the finish has the Isla peat smoke. So it's like it's this interesting progression from like wine sweetness, then the corn kind of fruity sweetness, but also a little bit earthy at the same time, and then kind of a dry, smoky finish. Really, really great.
That does sound very tasty.
Trying to think what else. Oh, I do have a funny story, and Captain Make It Happen may have been around for this, but you see, I'm ginger, right?
we weren't unaware.
So are the Licorice brothers, both that run Iron Root.
Oh God, 3 gingers.
3 gingers drinking whiskey in the same warehouse.
So many gingers.
So I went to the Scotch tasting later, and Robert Licorice was originally going to attend this same event as well, but he had something come up. They were doing their own event at the distillery, a birthday party for a brewer friend of theirs. So he wasn't able to make it. So I'm standing there hanging out at the party, and this gentleman walks up to me and he says, "Hey, how's it going, man? Is your brother going to make it tonight?" I was like, "Excuse me? What are you talking about?" And he says, "Your brother, he was here last time, right? The guy, your brother was coming." Like, I have no idea wait. Were you talking about the Iron Root guys? You talking about Robert? And he's like, yeah, you're his brother, right? Like, no, I was totally just with him an hour ago.
You should have just went with it,
That's
man.
funny.
I know, yeah.
I
was so like, taken aback, or not taken aback, but just surprised by that. I was very confused. I'm like, what do you mean is my brother coming here? And finally put 2 and 2 together. I'm like, oh, right. Because we're all ginger, so I get it.
Yeah, I would have just gone with it. It's like, no, he's not coming tonight. Just completely associate yourself with those guys. All right, so we've gone over the hour. Do you guys feel like we can talk to you guys a little bit of what's going on in our brains?
Sure.
Spill your brains, Vito.
Spill my brains. There's not much up there.
What's going on in that smooth dome of yours?
The good thing about it is there's nothing obstructing all the ideas that I have in my brain from leaving.
It's very aerodynamic.
There's also no insulation, right?
Yeah, there is no insulation.
It just leaks all over the place, whether you want it to or not.
There you go.
Perfect.
Okay, so if you guys haven't already, we're on Facebook and Twitter at the Cask Strength. What we're thinking, we've kind of given some thought to it, and we thought it would be a kind of a cool idea to maybe start thinking about like a small piece of merchandise that that we can have, and people that kind of like our stuff to have to say you like what we're doing, and you're part of this specific small community. And we want to see what you guys think we should focus our attention at first. This is completely super preliminary, just seeing where the interest is, and if there is any interest in any sort of small merchandise themed cask strength and whatnot. And we're going to put a poll up after the stream tonight on our Facebook page. And we're going to have three pieces of merchandise that you guys can vote on. One being a challenge coin, the other an etched glass, and the other a t-shirt. The designs haven't been finalized. And this is why we want to hear from you guys first, is where should we focus? Because depending on what comes out on top, the design may change. So we don't want to have a bunch of stuff going on, and then we want to have a clear focus idea of what we should focus on first for everybody.
Cancel everything, Vito. Eric Waite has solved it for us. Action figures.
Action figures with me.
I am loving the suggestions in the chat, actually. John said a Cask strength branded Omni cork that fits every bottle.
I like that too. I like that idea too.
Real quickly too, I saw Jay Hodes in the chat said, first listen live from Tasmania.
Tasmania, welcome, sir.
You're welcome. Yeah, glad to have you in. So it says first time being able he's to catch us live, so that's cool. Action figures, what would it? So action figures have to come like in a blister pack, right? And it has to have accessories.
Absolutely.
Right. You got it. Yeah. Do you have like a tiny Glencairn that comes with it, or what's the deal? How do you do whiskey YouTube show action figures? What would Vito have? He'd have to have like interchangeable crazy shirts.
Absolutely.
Oh my God, a bunch of wigs.
Like snap-on shirts that you like snap onto the front of the action figure.
yeah, no, it'd be like the Lego guy with the snap-on hair.
Yeah.
Jason Unsworth, Vito with pixie power, Brad with super demigod action, Josh with ginger action.
Oh, I got the ginger action all right, that's for sure.
Giggity goo. Full wall poster of Brad, preferably involving a bear skin rug.
What would actually be kind of incredible, referencing our dry week deal, was a barrel-aged hot sauce.
Oh.
Would that not be killer?
Brad with hot sauce so we can live what never was. Oh, it'll happen. Don't worry. I have the ridiculous hot sauces to torture myself with. I'm not going to get away with it.
Conveniently not brought those up lately.
We're gonna have an entire episode dedicated to Brad eating while both of us watch him.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna happen.
Maybe that could be next time. I've got to unpack them, but they're here.
I get a whole cabinet of balcones. No, that's fair. That sounds like a good action figure accessory.
Then we get like the collection. You got to get them all, right? Each version of Josh comes with a different balcones bottle, so you've got to buy them all.
Put in the cabinet.
Yeah, and then you need the little miniature cabinet to go with it, so that all the bottles fit. Get a good marketing opportunity here, I think.
Yeah, be like an action play set, and it'll come with a little bar, and yeah,
sure.
But if you guys don't mind heading over to our Facebook page, we'll put up the poll later on, shortly after the stream ends, and we'll keep it up for a while. We really appreciate the feedback and your input. We wouldn't be here without you guys, so any little bit of feedback and input that you guys have just makes it the community a little bit stronger. So.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been debating this idea for a while, and it just seems like it would be fun to do a run of coins or what have you.
Yeah,
I think coins are probably like everybody's got one. All of the channels have one, right? Pretty much.
They're functional. I feel, right, and they are cool to collect. So
yeah,
it's something easy, but. Having a clear focus would, and input from everybody really does make a world of a difference for at least this preliminary stage of thought. So, the Omnicork is an amazing idea.
Oh my God!
It really is freaking awesome.
Daniel Treadwell, sorry, or collect labels and send them off. and send off for them, like 80s style. Like you'd collect a bunch of labels and you got to send them in to get your coin or your whatever.
Yeah, like
it's cereal box tops. That would be amazing. Or like corks or something, you know. That would be amazing. I love that.
Totally idea. Brainstorming like the mechanics of an Omni cork. Would it have like a crank on the top to like shrink and expand the cork to different?
Well, it would be like those wine ones that you can like, they expand at the bottom. You have like a little lever, and it just kind of like squishes it together. It's got a piece of rubber that expands.
Yeah.
I'm using one actually for my Bunnahabhain 12 because the cork broke about a month ago, and I had one lying around, and I used it, and it's actually working pretty well.
Nice.
But yeah, we'll figure it out, and if you guys want to head over to Facebook at the Cask Strength, and we'll link in the description below as well, for everyone watching on replay, and that wants to take part in this poll and suggestion thing, whatever, professional words and whatnot.
So professional.
But yeah, we go take a look, and we'll put up that poll, and yeah, we'll figure it out.
This Icarus is magnificent, man. This is just really, really special.
I need a little bit more of this MCO one, I think.
Yeah.
I've got about half of each glass left, actually, for if it's continuing to record.
I wonder if the audio is at least working.
People are saying fixed question mark in the chat. So I mean, maybe it's working. I don't know.
Hey,
Nash and Drum, what's up?
Oh, we're back. We're good.
YouTube is just not gonna make it easy.
It never
Steve, it could be my
I take that as a challenge. YouTube doesn't want us to be cool, but we're gonna try anyways.
That's right.
If you're trying to be cool, then are you cool?
Okay, so really quickly, let's talk about the blends we just
I've been trying to be fired for weeks. I'm still not fired. So is coolness the same
sabotage
thing?
Oh, Mash, cool. I'm not sure if you guys heard our audio and everything, but we just blended 2 of the 3 whiskeys that we had in our possession.
Yep.
Josh, you blended which 2?
I blended the Redbreast 12 Cask Strength and the Balcones Rye Cask Strength.
I did the Redbreast 12 Cask Strength and Octomore 7.1.
Well, here, I haven't blended yet, but I will put some Lot 40 Cask Strength into this MCO one just to blend it up.
So the combination of these 2 for me, at least right now, I may let it sit for a little bit and see how it is. The flavor is not bad at all. It's actually, so the Redbreast always has that kind of creaminess and the sort of berry notes and the shortbread, and the Balcones Rye has some complementary flavors now that I think about it, in being like chocolate orange. So it could be like a chocolate orange scone with berries. And the only unpleasant thing that's really coming out for me there is a little bit of bitterness on the finish. Seems to kind of come through when I combine those 2. Hey, Whiskey Crusaders, that's Matt Zetrick that hosted the Macallan Highland Park Extravaganza.
Yes, Matt, yes.
Yeah, and you guys got to meet him last year, but had a fantastic time. We were talking about that earlier. I don't know if he's just popped in here, but we were telling all the stories from that earlier. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. There was a ton of people there too. There was like, I don't know, 60, 80 people maybe.
Oh,
I'm guessing, but there was a lot of people.
That is a hell of a lot of people. Okay, so this combo of MCO1 and Lot Cask, I would not recommend unless you really like pickles, because it brought all of the dill back out of the rye.
Oh,
I don't mind dill.
That's unfortunate.
It's like you made a steak with a dill dry rub. It's very strange. Very, very strange.
This redbreast and octomore, I'm actually kind of digging this.
Eric Waite said he'd eat a live hamster to get a bottle of Lot 40 Cask Strength.
You put that on film, Eric. I will bring the bottle to you personally.
Please don't do that. You'll get your YouTube channel shut down.
Yeah,
I mean, just post it on Twitter.
Eric gets points for creativity on that one. I'd say.
It's true. That's true.
Yeah, I don't mind this octomore. Brad, you know the issue we've had with octomore in the past. It's so well balanced that as soon as you try to it kind of breaks a little bit.
Sure, yeah.
There's nothing of that.
Nice.
It's kind of like a buttery peat.
That's almost quotable right there. It could be a hashtag buttery peat.
Buttery peat. I see a lot of weird stuff in my videos, eh?
So
you're quotable.
Like what? Like Connemara, but like really amped up, I would assume, because of the octomore.
Well, but I don't get the qualities of the Connemara in this, because the peats are very different.
They are. Yeah.
Sure.
Right. This one's much more salty and medicinal, whereas the Connemara is very earthy and sweet.
Mash and Drum said he thinks it's in his own head, but that the Lat 40 Cask Strength smells like maple syrup.
I wouldn't put it past. Yeah, it's Canadian.
I would not say that, but I understand it.
Dave, the Redbreast 12 Cask Strength. There was about an ounce of each at the end of it. The proportions may have been a little bit more in favor of the Redbreast, but roughly about an ounce of each.
I didn't catch any of it because I was running around, making dinner, taking Ella for a walk. But I believe Mash and Drum, was it 1,000 subscribers?
Nice.
Yeah, I think his video tonight was 1,000 subscribers. Congratulations, man.
Awesome.
Woo.
Well done, you.
I like his stuff. He's got a lot of good content, and he's got a good way of going about his videos.
Would you say that that's actually professional?
I mean, it's
how dare you?
professional, but is it our level of professional?
Yeah,
I don't know. That's a question for the ages, and I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Fair.
But he does a good job. I enjoy his content, and well deserved, sir. Well deserved. Congratulations.
Sure.
Absolutely.
I really don't know about this blend. I don't know.
Just, you know what, Red? Just pretend you're 21 again and just drink it to get drunk.
I mean, you can't let it go to waste.
I mean, that'll combine what?
True.
53% ABV?
Something like that, sure.
Did you guys see Ross Fudd believes that Buttery Pete could be a porn star name.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Probably.
Did I just find my stage name?
I think so.
There you go.
Buttery Pete.
Welcome to the stage, Buttery Pete.
Ooh, ladies. All right, I think we've gotten a little silly now.
just a little.
We're at a minute. We're at a minute. We're at an hour 20. So let's call it a night. Thanks everyone for sticking around. We apologize. Oh my God, you're right. I just can't help it. I have to apologize for things.
Yeah. it's the natural state of us.
It's in my DNA.
We can't do it.
Yeah.
Thank you for sticking around with us through all of the technical difficulties. The good thing is that we didn't have to restart the stream. This is one stream. We're almost there. We've almost done it.
It's a monumental day.
It
sure.
is.
Yeah. Google only messed with us 5 or 6 times. Practically seamless.
It is almost there. We're almost there, guys. Thank you so much for sticking around with us. We'll see you in 2 weeks. In the meantime, we're going to be releasing some videos. Hopefully, these other two will be able to put out some content, so it's not just me.
I should just put out. I should put out like the Criterion collection, like director's cut. Right? It's just going to be a 3-hour long YouTube video, completely unedited.
Do it.
I don't mind that idea, actually.
Do it.
I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that.
But yeah. Anyways, guys, thank you again. If you haven't already, like the video. If you didn't like it, dislike it, and tell us why you didn't like it. Good and bad, we love reading the comments. Yeah, in the meantime, we should come up with a closing tagline or something, because
we probably should.
We totally should. We should have like some sort of structure to this.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. In the meantime, guys, stay classy and stay safe. We'll just use my tagline. And Slancha.
Cheers.
Don't eat hamsters.